Welcome back to FHIR and 5. We're up to the letter Q, and I thought we'd continue where we left off with search parameters from the last session and just cover a couple of items in the querying aspect, so in a bit more detail. So like I covered in parameters in the last session, just the way that we query a FHIR server will provide some criteria, some parameters in our search string to return back a set of matching records. I just wanted to pull out two key parameters or queries that we can use around include, underscore include and underscore rev include. The include entry is used quite frequently. Rev includes probably less frequently, but still available to you. And just so that you can understand how it might get used, as a couple of examples, these are straight from the site that's listed at the top there. And the first one's all about, give me all of the medication requests and include the patients that are referenced by that particular set of medication requests. So when we get a bundle back, it'll have the medication requests that match the criteria, and it'll also give us the patient resources that are referenced by those medication requests in the same bundle. The second one, the rev include, works slightly differently. It'll give us the medication requests where there's a provenance record that's linked back to that particular medication request. So you're saying, the provenance record will have a target, which is this particular medication request. And so that's the link. It's from provenance back to medication request. But you're still getting the medication requests. You're also getting those provenance records in that same bundle. When we do get when we typically do a query and getting a set of records back, it'll have a various search modes. So the search mode for these included records will have an include, so we can tell the difference between those that have come back based on matching the criteria and those ones that have come back from an include. There's an open standard around making sure that each page stands alone. So when we think about pagination of queries, so some FHIR servers will return back, 20 records in a page, and you'll have to page through the query set to get the full set of records that you're wanting to get through. So depending on how your application's working against the FHIR server, so how your FHIR client works, you may need to go and hit the FHIR server multiple times through that pagination, but each page should stand alone. So if in that first example, we've got a set of medication requests, the patients that are linked to those medication requests on that page should be included in that page so that you can, as a FHIR client, you can render the patient details for those medication requests. We can also iterate through records. So with the include, we can say we want to get dispensing records, and for each dispensing record, we want to find out who the practitioner is that performed or prescribed that particular medication. So we can use the :iterate modifier against the underscore include to make sure that we include that performer or that practitioner. So what we'll get is we'll get the dispensing record, we'll get the medication requests, and then the practitioner that performed that particular action. There's also another way of querying a FHIR server, and that's using GraphQL. Just a warning here, this part of the standard is maturity level 0, so it's likely to change, but certainly worth investigating if your FHIR server supports it as an alternate method of querying the FHIR server. So we can pass it, some sample strings like we've listed here around. We might want to, for a particular patient ID, so this is based on a single instance of a patient resource, that particular example, we want to return the name, and the elements of the name that we want are the text element, given name and family name, and the response what we get back is that sort of subset of data. So really good for querying a small part of the FHIR server and just getting back the targeted information that you want to get back. We can also use FHIR path, so the FHIR path language to define what filtering we might want to have from a GraphQL perspective. So in that particular example, we're saying just give me the names where the family name exists, and respond back with the text, the given name, and the family name. Again, not all FHIR servers have the FHIR path capability yet. So just check your FHIR server implementation as to what it supports. So from a querying point of view, you can use _include, _rev include to add in extra elements that you might want to get from a FHIR client point of view. The depth of includes that you can have and iterations that you can have is defined by the FHIR server. So you know, FHIR servers might decide that you know, you can only include 1 deep, or we can include 2 deep, and that comes down to the performance impact of having to go deep into the bowels of the FHIR server to get some of this information. So just take care as when you're querying a FHIR server in this way, there might be other methods you can do, thinking about things like GraphQL, where we can limit the result set coming back from the FHIR server. Also think about the _summary query to allow just a smaller subset of elements to come back from your FHIR server, not everything to come back.